Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'll be doing a presentation on Sigmund Freud. When we think about psychology, the first things we think of is Freud, and I knew a little bit about him, but not that much, so I decided to do my PowerPoint on him. So first, we're just going to get into some background about him. So, he was a famous psychologist, born in 1856, and he died of cancer in 1939. A fun fact about him was that he was Jewish, but he was also considered an atheist, which is kind of interesting. He was obviously very intelligent and hardworking, which explains all of his accomplishments. He originally went to medical school, and he had a huge passion for science. He was a neurologist for a decent amount of time, and then he gradually pursued into psychiatry. The most commonly used method that he used was free association. So he combined hypnosis with free association to create a stronger method with his patients. He eventually opened his own practice and he published books. There's a couple of them I put up here. There's a lot more, but these are just a few. And he's very well known for his work. So the theory I'm going to focus on is psychoanalysis, which is a type of therapy that focuses on exploring conscious and unconscious parts of the mind to help patients improve their mental health. So there's three parts to psychoanalysis. There's psychic determinism, internal structure, psychic, conflict, and mental energy. So the psychic determinism basically says that everyone thinks and does things for a reason, and these things aren't just random. So this means we can consider things from the unconscious mind that we are not aware of, for example, dreams. Recently, I've been having a lot of dreams about a really good friend of mine that I used to have. And I haven't really thought about her recently, so I'm kind of confused as to why I had a dream about her, because usually when you do something during your day, or you think about someone and they end up in your dreams. But she hasn't popped up anywhere in my life recently, so it's interesting to think about. The only thing I could think of as to why I've had these dreams is because maybe I'm not over how our friendship ended, or maybe I subconsciously miss her and things like that, so it's very interesting to think about. So the next part is internal structure, which explains the three parts of the mind, which are the id, the ego, and the superego. And I broke it down in the next slide. So the id is responsible for desires, the ego is responsible for reality, and the superego is responsible for morality. So the psychic conflict stems off the second part of psychoanalysis, which we just talked about, the internal structure. And psychic conflict could lead to potential disagreements among the id, the ego, and the superego, which plays a huge role in decision making. The last part of psychoanalysis is similar to the energy law in physics, which is the mental energy. And this states that there's a set amount of energy used for each part of the brain. So how does psychic determinism create personality? Well, since everyone is different how they think and how they behave, it contributes to an individual's originality. These differences makes up who we are, and we strive to find people who are similar to us. How does internal structure create personality? The id, the ego, and the superego allows for their differences to become an opportunity to improve themselves as a person who they want to be. For example, to be lazy and to be productive. So these three parts of the mind will work together and essentially plan out pros and cons, morality, all things like that, to decide whether they want to be lazy or productive, and about their goals, motivations, and all that kind of comes into play. How does psychic conflict create personality? Well, according to this article that I read, the complication between the different parts of the brain can cause breakthrough moments with issues and enhance one's personality. Because the three parts of the brain are working together, it can help decipher through situations and solutions, which has helped people come to realizations and hopefully learn more about themselves and who they want to be, which can lead to different personality traits. How does mental energy create personality? Well, it has to do with a certain amount of energy, but also it could be kind of metaphoric, which helps a person decide how much time and energy they should put into things. For example, being positive and being negative. I used to be a very negative person, and I know that takes a lot of energy, like it's very draining. So after starting to do like therapy and working out and like spending more time with family, just more like positive vibes and things like that, I've decided that like it's much better to be positive than to be negative, because life's too short and you shouldn't be miserable all the time. Recently a friend has told me that time is money and time is precious. So I can relate to this a lot, and I definitely agree with this statement, and it's very true. Like, you should only spend your time towards things that are very important to you and that are worth your time. So after doing my research and learning about this theory, I've discovered that every part of the mind is important and it contributes to one big picture, kind of like pieces to a puzzle. How does this theory apply to me? The mental energy part of psychoanalysis stuck out to me the most, because recently I've noticed that the way that you project yourself shows a lot about you, and a lot of people can see who you are as a person based on how you project yourself and how you show your energy. And it's very important to focus on your own energy and your own mental health before you can bring someone else into the picture, for example, like relationships, because I feel like that's a very big thing today. And it's also important to focus on good energy and to stay true to yourself. Like I mentioned before, I used to be very negative, and like I would be spending too much time on the wrong people and not focusing on myself. So it's very important to me personally that you understand your boundaries, you understand where you want to go in life, motivation, all stuff like that, and just try to figure it out for yourself and who you want to be, and it can come a long way down the road and in the future. And here are my list of references, and thank you for watching.